Hello everyone and welcome back to the Cozy Chair and welcome to February. I love February. How about you? Do you like the month of February? There's lots of fun things about February. Sometimes the treats are fun, the special books are fun, but most of all, I love February because I love a lot of people. I love my family and I love my friends, and guess what? I love all of you out there. I love all my little listeners. So, for the month of February, I thought it would be fun to read fairy tales. And don't worry, we're also going to read Valentine's books, but not until we get a little bit closer. So today, before I read you my very first book for February, I want to play Who's Listening? Now here is Matthew and Sophie. Hi guys, I am so glad that you are here. Now, I told you that we would be done playing that game, but I just have 2 more pictures to put up, and then we'll wrap up that game. And I think we should start another. What do you guys think? Would it be fun to play a Valentine's game? I thought maybe your parents could write little Valentines, send them to me, and I'll read them to you. What do you think? Maybe this will work, maybe it won't. But you know what? That's why we're here. We're just figuring stuff out together. So today, for our very first Valentine's book, I'm going to tell you one of the oldest love stories I know. Now wait, little boys, don't leave just because it's a love story, because you might still like this story. This is Cinderella. Have you guys heard the story of Cinderella before? Now this one is retold by Barbara McClintock. And the reason I say it's retold is because fairy tales have been around for a long time, especially the story of Cinderella. So this one is retold by Barbara McClintock from the Charles Perrault version, and it's illustrated by Scholastic Press. Oh, look who's in this picture. Once upon a time, a nobleman lived happily with his sweet and gentle-natured wife and their young daughter, and when his wife died, he took another who seemed as sweet and gentle as the first. But no sooner was the wedding over than the new wife revealed herself to be the mean and jealous person she truly was. She couldn't stand the way her new stepdaughter's pleasing demeanor made her own daughters look silly and selfish. That is why she gave her stepdaughter only rags to wear and made her do all the worst chores around the house. She doesn't like how Cinderella makes her daughters look, so she dresses her in rags. The poor girl swept all the floors, washed and dried and pressed the laundry, scrubbed the stairs, and cleaned and scoured every dish, pot, and pan. At night, she slept on a thin mattress in the dingy attic, while her stepsisters had a lavish bedroom and all the luxuries they wanted. Her stepmother ruled her father with an iron fist, and the poor girl knew he would only scold her if she complained. So she suffered in patient silence. Poor Cinderella, look at her room. Look at her room compared to the stepsister's room. That stepmother is really not very kind, is she? After a long day, when her chores were done, the girl sat by the cinders near the fireplace to keep warm, which is why she was called Cinderella. But the older stepsister, who was the meaner of the two, called her Cinderbottom. Despite everything, Cinderella in her rags was still 1,000 times more beautiful and dear than her spoiled stepsisters. One evening, the girls were invited to a grand ball that was being given by the king's son. Now, what's the king's son called? That's right! He's called a prince. The stepsisters were all aflutter about what to wear and how to arrange their hair. "And what will you wear, Cinderella?" they teased. Cinderella sighed. "I'm not going," she said, examining her tattered clothes, but she wished to go with all her heart. She realizes that she's not really fit to go to a ball, is she? The stepsisters asked Cinderella to help them dress and put up their hair because she could make whatever she arranged look beautiful. But they couldn't resist taunting her. "Can you imagine Cinderbottom at the ball?" asked the elder. "They'd have to follow her around with a dustpan while holding their noses," said the younger one. Both squealed with laughter. Cinderella resisted an urge to yank their hair. Instead, she patiently made them look as pleasing as possible. The time came to go to the ball. Cinderella watched as her stepsisters entered their carriage and drove away. Once they were out of sight, she began to cry. Oh, there she was being so nice, even though those stepsisters were cruel and mean, and they were teasing. A kind stranger appeared and asked what the matter was. I wish," Cinderella was crying too hard to talk, but this kindly woman, who was really her fairy godmother, said, "I know, you wish to go to the ball." "Oh, yes," said Cinderella. "Well then," said her godmother, "let's get busy. We'll start with this pumpkin. Now bring me 4 mice, a rat, and 4 lizards." This did seem a bit odd to Cinderella, but she found 4 mice and a rat in a trap and found 4 lizards behind a garden post. Now, what do you think she's going to do with all those strange things? She probably was just thinking she needed a nice, pretty dress. Instead, she went to find mice and a rat and a pumpkin of all things. The godmother raised her arms and said the magic words, "Fumus, Ballumus!" In a flash, the pumpkin grew into a golden carriage. Look how beautiful that carriage is. The 4 mice changed into 4 handsome gray horses, the lizards became 4 liverymen dressed in shiny emerald green, and the rat turned into a portly coachman with a jaunty mustache. Cinderella was amazed. "Now one more thing," said the godmother with a smile. At once Cinderella's tattered rags were vanished, and the most beautiful dress imaginable appeared in their place. A pair of tiny glass slippers graced her feet. "My dear," her godmother said, "you must be home before midnight, because at the stroke of 12, everything will turn back into what it was." Don't forget, Cinderella thanked her godmother, stepped into her coach, and rode away. I'm going to hold this up here so you can see all these wonderful things. You can see her beautiful dress, and peeking out under her dress, she's wearing glass slippers. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to wear glass slippers? I always thought, I wonder how I could dance in them. When the prince heard that an unknown princess had arrived, he rushed to greet her. He gave Cinderella his arm, and together they walked into the ball. All eyes were on this charming stranger. The ladies studied her so that they could copy her hair and dress the next day. Even the king and queen admired her beauty. Should we see all those people at the ball? Can you see all of them? Who are they looking at? Who do they want to be like? The prince asked her to dance. Her astounding grace enchanted everyone. By the time dinner was served, the prince was so smitten that he couldn't eat a bite. See, I told you this was a love story. He gave Cinderella a plate of oranges as a gift. She brought them to her stepsisters and served them with kindness. They were dumbstruck at this unknown beauty would pay them any attention at all. Suddenly, Cinderella saw that it was 11:45. She curtsied and quickly left. When she got home, Cinderella told her godmother all about the ball and how much she wished to go again the next night. Then she heard her stepsisters at the door. "You were gone so long," she yawned, pretending she'd been sleeping. "The most beautiful princess came to the ball," said the younger stepsister. "And she gave us her oranges," said the elder. "I'd love to see her," said Cinderella. "Won't one of you lend me an old dress so that I could go tomorrow?" "What a joke!" both stepsisters laughed. "Lend a dress to a filthy Cinderbottom? Ha!" Cinderella smiled. A secret smile. The next night, the 2 stepsisters entered the ball, followed by Cinderella, who was dressed even more beautifully than she'd been the night before. The moment she arrived, the prince was at her side. He remembers her, doesn't he? From the night before. They danced all night, chatting with their ease of old close friends. The time passed sweetly, and so quickly. Suddenly, Cinderella heard the clock strike 12. She ran as fast as a startled deer, and as she bounded down the stairs, one glass slipper fell from her foot. Outside the palace stood a pumpkin. From beneath it, 4 mice, 4 lizards, and a rat scurried away. Cinderella's elegant dress turned back to rags. The prince ran after her, but all he found was her little sparkling shoe on the stairs. He held it close for the rest of the night, thinking only of the mysterious princess who had run away with his heart. There she goes. Oh, look, she's so surprised. Oh no, it's 12 o'clock. And there goes her fancy dress. She's back in her rags. Yep, and her coach just disappeared, just like the godmother said it would. The next morning, the stepsisters were beside themselves with excitement. The prince had made a proclamation that he would marry the girl who fit the glass slipper. His valet would go to every house to try the slipper on the foot of each young lady in the kingdom. Just think, the older stepsister said, what if the slipper fits me? Or me, wondered the younger one. Soon the prince's valet appeared at the door holding the little glass slipper on a cushion. I wonder what's going to happen. First, the older stepsister tried on the slipper, but without success. Then the younger stepsister tried, also with no luck. May I try? Whispered Cinderella. You, sneered the stepsisters. What a stupid idea. Look at them laughing at her. They are not very kind. But that shoe definitely didn't fit either of them, did it? Nope, nope, nope. But to everyone's great astonishment, the slipper fit Cinderella's foot perfectly. When Cinderella pulled the matching slipper from her pocket, the younger stepsisters fainted. Ah, look at them. The valet is so happy that he found the owner of the glass slipper, and the stepsisters are shocked. They didn't realize that she had been at the ball the whole time. The prince was overcome with joy. Within a few days, a great wedding took place. Cinderella and the prince were married. Her father gave her to the groom with great pride, and Cinderella, in her kindness, forgave her stepmother and found each of her stepsisters a suitable nobleman to wed. They were all terribly sorry about how they had treated her, and everyone lived happily ever after, forever and a day. There's her wedding. Isn't that so fun? Do you know what I love about that book? Cinderella is beautiful. Do you know what makes her beautiful? Is it her gown? Really? No, it's not her gown. It's not her fancy shoes. It's that she is kind. And kindness is always beautiful. So, I hope that you enjoyed this story of Cinderella. And you've got to come right back, because we've got to get to all these fairy tales like the 3 pigs, and, oh, don't forget Goldilocks, and the 3 bears, and Jack and the Beanstalk, Rumpelstiltskin. Oh my goodness, we have so many coming. So be sure to come back lots and lots this month, and tell your parents to send their Valentine for you. They can message me on Instagram at the Cozy Chair Club, or they can drop me an email, and my email is thecozychairclub@gmail.com. So I hope to see all of your love notes coming in soon, and we will be reading those after we're finished up with Who's Listening. Thanks for coming. See you next time.